Hi, it's Mount Red Songbird in New York City. This is part 2 of Eve, daughter of the sun. Okay, I'll break down the word breaking. Be, her, R for her, energy, akin, A-K-I-N, to king. Kin girl. Sister of Govinda Singh, Jesus Christ, the Buddha, Santa Claus, Saint Valentine, Richie Valens, Richie Rich, Rich Bitch, B-I-sex, itch. An itch feels good when you scratch. You can have all the scratch, daughter of the sun. CT, Conservative Tribune, says Trump and Melania. Trump is the 10th Sikh guru, Gobind Singh Ji, and Melania is Florence Nightingale. So, Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Florence Nightingale make surprise visit to Iraq. I, her, a queen. Okay, that would be Eve, queen of the universe. Her identity is shown in the word Iraq. You get all kind of messages in different words. Okay, astrologer Robin Birdsong told me this. She said, your Pisces moon and Mars makes you want to help every good soul you encounter. Well, she said that my Pisces moon and Mars makes me very sensitive. So that makes me sensitive to suffering. Okay, so it makes me good soul you encounter with a problem. W, I-sex, the masses. I said as a child, a 6-year-old, with tears streaming down my cheek, I feel sorry for everyone. I remember I did that, and I didn't understand why I did that, but I did that. So you give me more pleasure. I think I did that because I didn't think the earth was a very fun place, and I felt sorry for everybody that had to live here at that time. Now I have learned to be happy, and I think everybody who lives in America and are fortunate, very fortunate, because it's heaven on earth. You just have to use your brain, your intelligence to find pleasure. You give me more pleasure than anyone, Eve. Energy, her, I order mild red in. So I want to reward you more than anyone. Oh, that's what the sun said to me. Right, he said, you give me more pleasure than anyone else, Eve. Energy, her. I ordered a mild red in energy. So I want to reward you more than anyone else. Okay. Energy enough, ordered in, energy enough to help everyone, herself and the counterpart to herself, the universe. Because in part 1 I said what my horoscope said. Your soul was made to vibrate, to dilate in unison with the universe. That means whatever you're going through, the universe is going through it. So if I can help everyone, which is myself, Eve, energy, her, I, one, So everyone is Eve, and everyone is everyone. You see? So if I help Eve, and I have energy enough to help Eve, I have energy enough to help everyone else. You see how it works? That is why she matches as the queen of the universe, because she vibrates in unison with the universe. She understands the universe. She affects the universe. Okay, so this is some notes I took at the doctor's office I went to see today. He's Italian, and he was very concentrated. So, and I discovered he was my husband in a previous life. And his name was Jason Philippi, something named like that. And he was Jason and the Argonauts, the leader of the Argonauts. We, like buttfuckers, signs were downstairs and in the doctor's office. We, like cocksuckers, signs were downstairs and in the doctor's office. By that I mean the rainbow. They took over the rainbow, which belongs to the sun. When he was making love to me, there was a halo that looked like a rainbow around him. And his beam, his supreme beam, was outlined like a rainbow. So the buttfuckers are devils, because devils imitate the Almighty. And they are imitating his rainbow, which is a part of him, when they try to get you to associate butt-fucking with the rainbow, which they call being gay. They stole the word gay. There's more suicides among butt-fuckers than any other group, so they're hardly gay. It's a lie. The name is a lie. The scientific name for butt-fucking is homosexuals. Butt-fucking is a street name, I guess. It's an accurate name, however. They fuck butts. And they suck what is called cocks. You could call them penis suckers. We had total I-sex life. Oh, this is the doctor and I, who I said is my husband in a previous life. We had total I-sex. I-E-Y-E. It looks like L-I-F-E, doesn't it? But I meant it to be eye contact. The doctor was present. He was concentrated. He was in control of that body. I told him his nurse was good. He had a great bedside manner, I said. The doctor barely responded. No laughter. Not important to him at this time. Why am I wheezing? Was what was important to him. He's Italian, a win for the Italian group. It was a credit to his group. Okay, so this whole butt-fucking sign display indicates open-mindedness, even to something evil like that. He agreed when I said doctors make decisions. The buck stops here, like President Harry Truman, who would sing Birdsong, my son, from Kansas, Missouri, said about himself. I also noted that Dr. Malamud is a spiffy dresser. Dr. Malamud was the oncologist who treated me when I had breast cancer. And let me say Dr. Jason, because I can't say his last name. I don't speak Italian. I have no idea how to pronounce it. He knows Dr. Malamud because Mount Sinai, where the hospital is, used to be Beth Israel. And that's why I recognize that. I used to come here when this was Beth Israel, you know. Okay, so when the doctor suggested I have a heart test, I asked why. Sometimes he said, sometimes those who were former smokers, their hearts, not their lungs, are affected. I said, oh, you're taking precautions. He said, exactly right. You know, he felt good about me getting him. My daughter Emily had said, my daughter is the occupational therapist who comes to help me with my rotator cuff injury. She said, I hope you have a good doctor's visit. So I asked Baba G to let me have a good doctor's visit. She had a good idea there. He was choosing, what is that? He was chatting with, oh yeah, he was chatting with me, that's right. You're so sharp, he said. That's what Govinda Singh said, Baba G. As the doctors affirmed what I nailed him on. You know, telling him he makes decisions and telling him he was doing precautions, and so couldn't get away because I had the hammer of truth, knocked any misconception out like a light at night. I was Einstein. I'm still bright. I see that what I have to do is follow Robin's diagnosis. She said, your body is reacting to not being exercised. Then she what? Oh, I know. I didn't write it down, but I remember. She gave me the name of a website. It's called Leslie Sansoni Walking. It's cardiovascular exercises where you walk in place. So Robin did me a solid there. And I had a thought I wanted to bring up. What did I want to bring up? Oh, that I realized that I'm breathing for two souls in my womb. So 3 of us are breathing. That's why I started wheezing. And I stopped walking to the Indian restaurant on 9th Avenue and 20th Street where I used to get exercise. Now I just go across the street to Duane Reade or up the street to Chipotle or to Starbucks, which is up the street. So I'm not getting any exercise and I'm breathing for two additional bodies. No wonder I'm wheezing, right? So all I have to do is deep breathing exercises. So here's more notes about him. Dr. Jason Filippi, Italian, past life. He's a respiratory doctor, and he was my husband in a past life. He's Jason, the leader of the Argonauts, astronauts, a saint. This rhymes, astronauts, a Saint Tron, rules of not, caught, lying, astronauts, right, caught lying, saying they went to the moon. See, the truth comes out. What else we got? Clues from Prager University. Dennis Prager, the narrator, was a theologian. The German monk Martin Luther made a huge impact on modern culture. He gave us the Enlightenment and capitalism, and 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were Protestants. It started when the German monk Martin Luther, now Martin Luther King Jr., born as Lou Ranziger, my grandson, who was once a poet, sang Mirabai. So, so it started when the German monk Martin Luther protested the Catholic Church charging people for abolishing their sins, for saying you can go to heaven even if you have sins if you pay us money. And that's outrageous. And this was the 16th century. And Martin Luther protested it, and people agreed with him, and they started a whole Protestant movement. Okay, so justice for Martin Luther. The proceeds from future Samat in addition to his stipend of $1 million a year for eternity from the flat tax revenue and unlimited Talk and Share sessions with creator of Talk and Share, Mild Red Songbird Eve, guided by her son Giancarlo Arturo, when he had been Charan Singh Jesus Christ, her husband, during the first century. And he was her husband when he was Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, because she was Mrs. Santa Claus. Martin Luther knew the Antichrist, the Jews, were evil, the devils, do evils, do energy vile, do with vile energy. Now they called him anti-Semitic because he nailed the anti-Christ Jews, like George Soros is a billionaire. The guy got about $30 billion, and he uses it to fund violent groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and do other things to try to destroy the American way of life. And the pedophiles, the Jewish pedophile movie makers in Hollywood are sending out evil stories that people are buying. And same thing about academia. The Jewish professors in the colleges, they don't allow free speech. Anybody who disagrees with them about politics or American values, they refuse to allow them to speak. And you know, these leftist groups actually become violent when they see these people in restaurants or walking down the street. So they're evil. The media moguls, there are six corporations that run the media. Used to be 80, now it's 6, and they're mostly Jewish. So how can one help but conclude that those people who killed Christ and never showed any remorse, and with Pontius Pilate, Michael Bublé's wife, how can you not see that they're destroying America, or trying to? Okay, so, and Dennis Prager is a good Jew, because he's the one that started Prager University, and they speak a lot of truth. Dr. Jason Filippia, born in Italian group gene pools. This life was once Jason, the leader of the Argonauts, an ancient Greek mythological hero whose question, can I do this? Can I know this as a reality? Can I make this happen? My quest was to get my family financially established since I was 6 years old, and saw that my mother was poorer than the poor. I hadn't a clue how large my family really was. My family is the Holy Royal Family, descendants of the Son. The Bible says when you get to heaven, you'll reunite with your relatives. Well, I must be in heaven, on earth, because I'm reuniting with relatives from my past lives. The Father, speaking of the Son, the Father with the supreme beam, the highest authority. He never stops working. He's tired. Tires go on cars. Henry Ford was Eve, the Son's daughter. He made this a carnation. And Eve is going to have a coronation because she's queen of the universe. And Gurinder Singh, who you're looking at on the right, is king of the cosmos. So he too will be given a coronation. Justice for Eve and Sing Birdsong, the King of America, will be given a coronation. And Robin Birdsong to be the first black Queen of England will be given a coronation. So Justice for Eve, Henry Ford. All the proceeds from the sales and repairs of cars and tires on all vehicles go to the son's heir. The son's heir, Eve. The son is beyond exhausted because he never sleeps. He's always working. He embraces his exhaustion. He feels lightheaded, bright-brained, right-brained. He feels high. He is the highest because he's the most exhausted. Satan, the devil, mimics the Almighty. He made a drug out of a marijuana plant and induces people to crush it, roll it in paper, and set fire to it and smoke it, mimicking sun's beam supreme being ignited, having sex with his daughter, his child, Eve. People can have love energy to love energy with their daughter, with their son, by looking into their eyes, connecting. That's eye sex, commonly referred to as eye contact, which is taken for granted. They don't realize it's sex. Hugs and kisses are arm sex and lip sex. Anything that gives you pleasure is sex. Sex is the basis for life. Pleasure is the basis for life. And this culture acts like there's something wrong with sex. The devil mimics the Almighty by selling them a drug that makes them tired and sleepy, which they embrace and feeling high, like the giver of goods, the sun. Only the devil's drugs makes the people's minds malfunction. They cannot see reality. Delusions, causing the dupe to make unnatural moves on. The sun is infinitely intelligent. Infant intelligence. The devil is always the opposite of the sun, the greatest, grandest good. Satan is therefore infinitely unintelligent and the greatest evil. Alcohol, for example, one of the drugs that makes his taker so sleepy, so groggy. He stabs people, shoots people, runs over and kills people with his cars, cheats on their spouses, sleeps sex with the same sex, then succumb to the blackmailer. Sex with babies and children, physical sex with babies and children, as drugs numbs consciences. The drugs numbs consciences. As one cannot tell, cannot sense, cannot get right from wrong. The default is wrong, bad, evil. Doing right is the conscious decision. Reacting, doing negatively, is the unconscious decision. Our children, the dirt under our feet, do act out our unconscious. Conscious parents raise children who act out doing good deeds, being good people. Bad parents, to be or not to be, said character Hamlet in Shakespeare's play. Eve had been William Shakespeare. Those bad parents who choose not to be aware that they are alive, parents who refuse to see they are responsible for what they do. Drugs make it impossible to think clearly, to be aware of being responsible for what happens in your present moment. People who had bad moments like Galileo, who the church arrested for telling the truth, solved their unbearable circumstances, unbearable injustices by stopping being conscious of their present moment. by stopping paying attention to his or her moments in his predicament, house arrest for 9 years until his death. Even if Galileo had enough to interest him in his house, Eve and Venus on Earth. Oh, even. Eve and Venus on Earth. That's what even is. He was so preoccupied trying to understand how what happened. This is Galileo we're talking about. Trying to understand what happened to him, why it happened to him, because he was in a state of experiencing incredulousness. The law of attraction, a neutral applied law, just kept sending Galileo one event after another that caused him to feel incredulous again and again, because the law of attraction matches where you are and what you're feeling. Galileo died feeling incredulous, and in his next birth, the state of incredulousness was still with him. It had made a groove in his brain. For example, as Queen Victoria, she was incredulous that her beloved husband, faithful consultant and confidant, Albert, got sick and died on her. She, Queen Victoria, went partially numb. She wore black for 5 years. That's the only color she wore. She was in mourning, totally in mourning. And so she went partially numb, a habit, a pattern from when she was Galileo. A catastrophe occurs, impossible to accept, digest, as these things happen and go on living. She dies a little, becomes numb to her feelings, and becomes a member of the group the filmmakers labeled The Walking Dead. Okay, so you understand that happened to Queen Victoria? But all she needs to do, she is now Robin Birdsong, and she does talk and share. Okay, this is Guru Nanak's. There's Guru Nanak. And this is the restaurant where I eat. Actually, it's a deli. It's an Indian food and snacks, Dil-e-Punjab Deli. It's at 170 9th Avenue in Chelsea, in Manhattan, New York. This is the young man that I have eye contact with. And he was my son in a previous life. He was also one of the 10 Sikh gurus. Like I said, Donald Trump was the 10th guru, and Mike Pence was the 9th guru. Okay, I don't have time to read all this. I'll have to. Yeah, I can't read all this. It's going to run out of time. This is also a gentleman, a Sikh with great dignity, who was one of the 10 Sikh gurus. Okay, and I'm just showing that his apron looks like a dress because the Sikhs don't discriminate against women. Guru Nanak founded Sikhism. Guru Nanak was Eve. Okay? So, it said Queen Victoria had a confidant after Albert who was named Abdul. And he loved her so much that when she died, he would go and study and write by her statue, trying to feel like he was still with her. And of course, the Catholics worship statues. Okay, so that's all I can read for now. This is Miles Red in New York City, signing off till next time. You can see the movie Victoria and Abdul. I saw it and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Okay. Throne. The her one. Her, the important one, sits on the throne. Okay, just like the Queen of the Universe sits on the throne. She's the daughter of the Sun, the highest authority. So that makes her very important, because she only shines light on the earth to give her light, to make sure she's all right. It's Mal Red and Songbird signing off until next time.